My name is Rhapsody, silly pseudonym is my silly pseudonym today, and welcome back to UnderMine. The pseudonyms, or rather the custom names for the peasants, are drawn from patron donators at the 4th wall tier or above. Much appreciated to Silly. Sincerely. Let's see what we can do about this run. I'm not really seeing anything here in the opening that's actually pushing me one way or another. Like, we got 2 keys and a bomb. So it's not... it's not really like obviously pushing towards Spirit or Sylph or anything. No, let's do Soul. Just because I have no reason to use any of them in particular, and I don't know if I have used Soul yet, and it's the only other one that does have, like, utility rather than just trying to be about damage. Well, you know, there is also the Canary, but that's a utility I assure you we don't necessarily need right now. I knew I should have gone for Sylph. It's always Sylph. Oh, hell yeah. I'll take 2 keys and a bomb. 3 keys and 3 bombs. It always looks like it's only 2 bombs in that bag, which is why I always say 2 bombs, despite the fact that I guarantee I know on a gut level it's 3. Same with the keyring as well, actually. Although, is the keyring only 2? Because we did come in with 2, didn't we? Do they differ? Oh no! That means my my mental response to the keyring was that it's 3. But it was 2. I was wrong in the other direction. Yeah, all chests are empty is absolutely tragic. We have to immediately remove that. And we get blessed with a faster swing speed. We also spawned in with 3 increases to our throw speed. So 3 increases to your throw speed. That's... Ooh, suddenly we're getting to... Should I prioritize throw damage as a thing? Although... in recent episodes, I feel like I might have proven to myself that maybe don't do that, right? At least diversify if you do. Well, that's our secret room. Or rather, one of them. Just gonna drop the bomb here. I have enough bombs that if it's not, it's fine, but... Really? I'm actually like... I was so certain about that one. I feel like I had my eye in for a while, and then I just gradually lost it. It looks like it should be there, right? You know, I'm gonna bomb from this side as well. Screw it. I thought a secret room was gonna be there so much that I thought the game must have glitched. Although, the alternative to that is that there are secret rooms that only have an entrance on one side despite having 2 valid or legal ways to enter. So, still kind of a thing that I wanted to check just to see if that was at play. Especially while I have a little bit of a surplus of bombs here in the other game. Alright, let's see where it was. Doing on that side, that makes sense. We have to go back to the exit no matter what we do anyway, so we may as well just check that when we do. Still nothing. Well, now I feel bad about how many of my bombs I used. You got me, game! You made me feel bad for it. In retrospect, obviously not a great usage of bombs, but hindsight's 20/20. I could have saved one of them from that pretty easily. But still did want to check whether or not that was a factor at play. Just to see whether or not that's something I have to be more intently concerned with in the future. But it does feel like I had my eye in with finding secret rooms on intuition. But intuition to me, like, especially when you have like a... Or rather, my definition or feeling of interpretation of it is effectively, it's just experience. It's just your brain applying a heuristic, using any previous experience that it finds familiar, and then giving you the immediate answer, bypassing your brain. So it's like, oh, well, it didn't come from my brain, came from my gut. It's my, for me, at least. I mean, I guess, like, broadly as well, right? Surely broadly as well. It's just how you define experience. But I would say that, like, my amount of experience with secret rooms in Isaac, for example, has given me the ability to look at a room and go, yep, that's a secret room, that's a secret room, that's not a secret room, that's a secret room, that kind of thing. I felt like I was getting towards it here, but clearly not. Or maybe I'm just a little bit rusty. I did admittedly take a fair couple weeks off. Marble walkers. So anytime I jump, I land and then I burn the ground. I'm not super into it, but I will take 2 boots. Because each of the boots are a 5% speed up, aren't they? So let's just zoom, zoom, zoom. Let's make Sonic look positively geriatric. I gotta admit, even when Sonic looked bad, I was really, really, really hyped for the film. For exactly one reason. And his name is Ben Schwartz. He voices Sonic. And I don't know how many of you are super into improv comedy, but he's also like a really good improv comedian. And just a general all-around nice guy from his kind of like social media presence and persona. I just want to see it because, yeah, dude's cool. I'd like to see that film basically just to support him breaking into kind of like bigger, more mainstream projects. Like, he has been in films with like Jane Fonda and like big films, and like Rockwell, like Sam Rockwell he was in a film with, but all of those have kind of been a little bit fraught so far. So I'm hoping this is the one that really makes him a kind of household name. A map that discovers all of the secreted rooms, eh? I'll take that. I'll also take the potion that's going to remove a curse for me later, because I'm probably going to pick one up. Let's be real. Probably going to pick up a couple. Let's be real. Ooh, very glad that I checked this room as my way to get in here. But I don't know if my bomb is actually going to have the size to... Yeah, my bomb's not going to have the size to do both of these at the same time. So I'm going to check the secret room first. It gave me 500... I should never do that. I've never seen a positive result out of it. And the fact that I'm constantly asking myself, but what is it actually doing, is blinding me from the fact that it's clearly not doing anything. If it was doing something incredible, surely I would have noticed by now. Come on. Just come here into the middle of the field or something. No. Fine. Love a good catalyst. Let's find ourselves a golden tooth as well. Especially early on in the run. This is gonna provide us a fair amount of healing. I mean, not only just a fair amount of healing, but hang on. So the warm light, the Phoenix heals the peasant whenever they take damage. Radiance, the Phoenix heals the peasant, or rather, whenever the Phoenix heals the peasant, it applies an immolation effect that burns nearby enemies. And then Rebirth, the Phoenix will resurrect the peasant once they fall. So I'm kind of planning to get like basically halfway through the Nori fight, die, and then just finish the Nori fight. Kinda. I mean, I don't want diversify. I think I just left myself without a bomb for this. I did. Does this have a bomb in it? It did. Witch's brew, eh? Yeah, become cursed, eh? Yeah, we'll consider it. We'll consider it. It's actually possible we use that. Because we have the inverter. So, Witch's brew, we found out when we decided to give it a shot. I found out when I decided to give it a shot, rather. It's bad. I guess I just destroyed that item. No, whatever. Could have taken it if I was going to destroy it. Plague uncooked food is less effective and has a chance to poison. Honestly, that doesn't really concern me too much. Especially not here in the early floors. I'll be more concerned about my HP as a resource. Maybe by dungeons time. And even then, probably not. No more bombs. Fine. Good. Also, no Cho'Galls, by the way. I'm not getting really lucky with appearances of that friend. I don't need to say the key using a bomb now. Our curse was major famine. Healing is less effective. Healing is less effective. Healing is less effective. And uncooked food is less effective and has a chance to poison. I'm noticing some sort of a trend here. Let's see if we can also start lowering our max HP, just become a complete glass cannon. That item! Ugh. That item and a couple of the decisions around the Ascension mode in this game, as I've mentioned before, have made me a little leery of the approach or consideration that's currently being given to the long-term support of this game, or rather people who play it a lot. It's starting to feel more and more like it's less like a Binding of Isaac or an Enter the Gungeon and more a Wizard of Legend or a Flint Hook. Right? They are roguelikes. They're procedurally generated, but idea isn't really to do them that many times. And to be fair, that is the danger that was obviously being flirted with in the initial, having the idea of a roguelike with permanent progression elements. Also, by the way, all of the information I gave you about the update last time, wrong. Just totally wrong. Just all of it. God, awfully wrong. So instead, I'll tell you it's the Crystalline update, and it's adding a new floor and a new boss, and a couple different other assorted sundry details that I cannot remember. But those ones you can take for granted. You can take them for a rock. Drop my holy water there. Cool. Food no longer being poisoned is pretty good for us. Pretty handy. Celt? Was it Celt that killed us last time? Only one way to find out. And that would be to pause and go check the footage, but gosh. If only there was another way to find out by maybe like checking an arena in which Celt might spawn if they were alive, but clearly that's not possible. Otherwise I would have laid that out earlier. Right, no, I still should heal. Because we had the fight. Definitely don't need a key or the bomb. We've actually got like pretty good keys and bombs going on at the moment. I'm pretty pleased about it. Also, the curse that we got removed with the holy water through the inverter gave us cleave. Very, very pleased to have at least one stack of that. I never really know how to fight mimics. Like, I know how to check for them and then take damage to them almost invariably. I need to find my Dark Souls strat. In Dark Souls, like, I used to find mimics, and then I would approach them from the front, and then they'd still eat me, because, you know, they're powerful. I eventually learned how to deal with them. Start from the side, you know, those kinds of constantly keep behind it. I just got to get that for the mimic. I fight the mimic so irregularly that I don't have the same formation of a strategy against it. It's pretty inflated to call it a strategy. It's more just like a set of muscle memory reflexes that I form. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, usually I'm not super about that, but having 10 keys at this point? Yeah. We also got the other major curse away, and we got Fortitude, receive less damage. We are getting really good blessings from this inverter. I do have to say that. The inverter is really, really bad. Just gonna... Yeah, try and make sure that the summoner actually dies first, rather than spend my entire time killing the summons. Is this fight with the champion Ragman on floor 1 of Binding Wise? Seriously, this champion Ragman. Oh. I thought I could have just made it. Stop burning all of the stuff I want. Okay, the lava walk is, I have to be careful about jumping in shops, clearly. Take that. Well, obviously Elixir has like a lot of interest to me right now. It's not the potion I'm going to reroll. I don't know if I want to reroll any of these potions, actually. I'll use the... Not the witches, bro. I'll use the cookies for the experience. Then I'll go for one more reroll. Okay, and then... With the lessening of these minor famines, I don't know if actually those two will put me above 150, but I want to get above 150, do one more reroll, and then pop the elixir. Just ideally if we can get it done at all. Also, I suspect that that healing is the level up condition for the Phoenix. So having golden food... Damn it! Well, golden food doesn't actually change it unless I get golden popcorn, but having the seasoned popcorn for food duplication as well as the catalyst makes me feel pretty comfortable about that. Like we'll be able to level up pretty quickly. Also, you know, maybe it's based on amount of health healed, and if it is based on amount of health healed, then Elixir is going to be incredible for us. I need to find a purification potion as well. Obviously, the idea being that I'll use the Witch's Brew and the purification potion in order to gain a bunch of curses, then immediately remove a bunch of curses, gaining a bunch of blessings instead using the inverter. But purification potions aren't exactly the world's most common thing. So you might have to settle for an absolution and then a bunch of other removal. Love it! Which is Cleaver. What's the oh, right, there's the Butcher's Cleaver, and then there's also the 4-leaf Clover, and then I want both of those at the same time. That's right. And the 4-leaf Clover, if I had... Really? This is what I was talking about! Literally, vindication! This is exactly what I was talking about as far as the situation on the first floor. The secret room is directly above me. It's clearly accessible from here, but... That is why I used that second bomb on the first floor. I have to admit, it has been 19 minutes. 19 minutes. It's probably been 16 minutes since then. The video's been going on 19 minutes. But I have been feeling anxious since that happened. About, oh no. Oh, I probably didn't give a good justification for that. Oh, no, I don't know if that's... Oh no. I don't know if I explained myself right there. Maybe I just look really dumb. And I was really worried about it. I'm glad to have been vindicated by the game. Discover more treasure rooms. Sure. Oh. Alright. Healing is less effective. It said it on the tin. In fact, I also did know this specific interaction as well. Should have been able to recall it. Whoops. Wasn't really thinking about the fact that I had those curses at the time, to be honest. Every run without a blueprint these days is another knife. Because there's going to be more items in the game soon. You have to let me at least discover the ones that are in here already. Alright. Shogami. Deserve it. Nope. Alright, apparently not. I mean, having the inverter does make getting Cho'Gall, like, almost impossible, because using it is, you know, removal of a curse, but a gain of a blessing, so it's a negative 5%. Removal of the curse, I don't think affects it. Obviously, I'm going to try and place this so it gets both that and the rock. Dwayne was out of town, so I'll have to settle for the stone that was next to the wall, but that didn't actually hide a crawl space under it. Alright, I forgot that I have the Harvester's Scythe. Specifically, having Harvester's Scythe and the food duplication effect, I should be going a little bit harder on these ends. Also, like, the whole run is supposed to be about me getting all up close and personal and burning the enemies, actually, with the immolation effects the Phoenix starts to provide. I'm not super keen on the design of that room, but literally just because traversing it annoys me. Not for, like, a good reason. It's more just like a... Do I have to? Tedium rather than actual frustration. There'll always be rooms like that to break up the pace, of course, in games like this. Damn it. I wonder if I get rid of all of these curses. Like, is the lessening of healing affecting my Phoenix? Because I haven't actually been looking. I know the Phoenix is like a percentage of your health, right? Or the percentage of the hit that you took. Just a random potion. Dope. Yeah, no, I know it's a percentage, so I don't know what its percentage is, though, so I guess I'm just gonna have to figure out, like, how much I heal for a normal hit and then take that same hit later in the game when I don't have these curses. My best ability to compare that. Alright. That was the major one. I'm fine to remove that. Heck, you know what? I'll go even further than fine. I'm happy to remove it. Thrill? Ecstatic? Euphoric? Even. Hyperstone. I actually, if any of those would have applied to anything, it would be to having gotten that. Also, by the way, that would have discovered 2 secret room adjacencies, one of which doesn't work from here. Anyway, the pickup of the nullstone is incredible because the nullstone is effectively just like avoid a bunch of hits, right? Wasn't it? Wait, actually, is this not the thing that I'm thinking of? No, because here's the nullstone. I already have it. So what did I just get the blueprint for? Hyperstone. Oh, right. It's in a yeah. Right. Is it a hyperstone? As in like reference to Dota? I say Dota question mark because I don't know if in Dota it's a reference to something else. I know it is in Dota. I've built many. Actually, what recipes is it even in at the moment? It might have been removed from the game since I last played. I was a big old Dota 2 addict for a very long period of time, like 1.4k hours. Hothead. I kind of stopped playing because I didn't like the person that competitive games made me. Obviously, they weren't making me a different person. It's just I didn't particularly enjoy the experience, and I found that oftentimes, especially at the time back when I was playing, because this is like a fair-ish while ago now. Just couldn't necessarily respond to it in a fruitful way. It just introduced a lot of toxicity into my life, and I fed back into that, and then it was just awful. I had to get out of there. Which is really unfortunate, because I frankly love the gameplay of Dota 2. And those kind of like, broadly, those kind of like MOBA games as well. It's just cannot do community. If it was a single player game, I would be all over it. I haven't really got a good suggestion for how it would be made a single player game, but thank you for... Ooh, what a glorious bounty. Much appreciated video game. Would you like to provide a game? No? That's okay, that's good enough. Alright. Bunch of curse removal in the shop. Calling it now. Alright. Was the imp actually laughing as I came in here? Because I didn't hear a laugh before I took the first hit there. Stay far away, henchman. I find getting up close and personal, but not against the people that have the instantaneous attack. Soak up gold and get a discount at the shops. Sometimes drop a new key when using a key. No. I'm gonna take a shop in a bottle. I'm probably gonna try and look for a transmute in a bottle in this shop in a bottle to go use in the shop that had the shop in a bottle in it. Savvy? I'm gonna take the golden popcorn here. We have golden popcorn, we have seasoned popcorn, and we have food. Not food, sorry. We have golden popcorn, seasoned popcorn, and golden food. So because of the combination of all of those, I'm also going to start hoarding anything that's seasoned kernels. Duplicate all food in the room. Also the gold one, but the gold one obviously is going to be less common to find. I don't know if we'll be able to find enough of them, because especially since we haven't got spirit, we don't have easy access to a ridiculous amount of potions. But we do have easy access to like a lot more rerolls in shops than we would typically have as a result of that percentage health healing. This would be like a great room to start it in. It would be awful to collect anything in, considering the consistent arrow file. God, just seeing a juicy fish stick just bounce around the room like that. Could have been doubled so many times. We could have been the richest. But pretty much any food that drops out of anyone is now going to have a very high chance of doing something similar to that. See? Basically, I kind of think I can start taking melee damage. I think I have enough healing in this run that I don't care anymore. Obviously, against the bosses, I'll have to care. But, oh. I know I have the lava boots and I could have used those in a fascinating kind of way in the Nori fight to try and eke extra value out of him, but no, I'll just take the Salamander's Tail. Make it a lot easier on me. I'm purposefully leaving behind a fair amount of gold, by the way, as well. Not because I'm, like, mad at the gold or anything like that. It's just because in comparison to a break, the amount of gold that we'll get from looting is minimal and just real tedious to get. That's another thing, like, especially because the runs are currently an hour and a bit for a full run 2 and then beating Nori. Plus the possibility of, you know, extra time on top if you're doing some breaking kind of stuff. That doesn't really work when you start adding a 4th floor and then a 5th floor as well, especially if those enemies have more HP, which they will, and more difficult attack patterns, which they will. Because then the game becomes a 2-hour affair, and that's not super tenable as just an option. So I've been thinking about ways that they can kind of increase the general pace of the game. If they went with that. Obviously, like, I'm not prescribing anything. But if they were going to... Oh, God, if we had the leftovers from earlier, this would be so good as well. I still want it. All right. I was halfway through explaining something before I saw that item. Oh, right, yeah, to see if there are any things that I can think of that would necessarily be ways to improve the speed or pace of the game. And I think, like, one of the biggest things is kind of getting rid of gold farming. I'm not certain how that would be implemented, but it does seem like, especially as the floors get larger, that's gonna need to be addressed. Or rather, as they're getting more floors, rather than the floors get larger. Now, last time we had 4 duplications, but we only started with, like, 3 stakes in a room. And that's the break that gave me the money I'm still using, by the way. Oh, wait, hang on, lava! What? What is happening? Why am I burning? I have the lava boots. Am I not immune to lava? Isn't that their whole thing? Oh, no. Okay, I had a fireball lobbed at me by the wall that I somehow missed. I'll come back for that if we need it. Obviously, I don't really have a bomb available to do anything with at the moment. Largely, as a result, where is it? There we go, sweaty palms. Chance to drop a bomb when taking damage. Oh, they couldn't live for just a millisecond longer? Wait, this might be the secret room I've already accessed, though. No, it isn't. Never forgive. Yeah, we need to start removing some of these curses. We're not getting the abundance of curse removal I clearly was convinced we were going to. I just like not to constantly be on fire. Occasionally? Well, I mean, you know, between consenting adults, but I'd like not to be on fire in this particular instance. Gotta remember, I can jump after they launch their attack, the gargoyles. I don't have to walk away. And the contact with the ground is obviously the most dangerous part as well. It has like a fairly large AoE, as we've experienced a couple times over. Yeah, if you could just stay there, skeletons, please. Just in that general vicinity. That's for my commanding officer, actually. Ooh, devotion. Probably only 2 more shrines in the game. If I hadn't used the shrine this floor yet, I'd be more interested in that. I'm still interested in it. It's probably gonna be like at least 2 curse removal. So, especially considering how concerned I am about that right now. Yeah, I'm in. Queen's Crown, always. I don't think I died to Mortar either. I don't know who I died to. What? That would tend to imply Nori. I shouldn't have walked over that before I went and bombed for the other secret room. Sweaty palms could have made me drop my bomb. I just got real lazy and didn't do it. I couldn't resist that. Oh, I walked back over it! I deserve that. Thank you for the bomb, though. Oh, the game is very, 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 very much trying to make sure that I can't tilt. Oh, right, I had one of these. Just use that later. I'm not doing game good today. I'm trying, but I'm clearly a little bit rusty. Plus, to be nice, too. Please. Excellent. All right, Mortar. We have, like, yeah, 2 stacks of cleave as well as, like, a fair few attack speed up. That's a pretty easily dead Mortar. Especially if we pop the crit chance. Shouldn't need it, but have it there just in case. Cool. The fact that we had the higher attack speed as well as 2 cleave meant that as we walked into the arena, Mortar was so terrified by our presence that they immediately died. Remarkably effective, as I was saying it would be. That's good. I mean, we're gonna need some bombs to support it. I don't know where I'm gonna get those, but at the very least, when I get them, I know how to double them. If I can remember to double them, that is. I love that it's Ascension 15, and weirdly, like, this run feels a lot easier than many of the other runs I've had, and it feels like it's largely due to the Phoenix. Like, I'm just not clearly fully appreciating it. Because it's kind of like a passive, like well, all of them are passives, but it's very easy to not notice. Very easy not to appreciate it, so I'm trying to draw my attention to it so I get a better perspective of the item. Well, we finally have 2 bombs. One of them's a potion, granted. Now these ones. Thank you. This one too. Alright, that's everything in the room. Cool. So now we can just get them to kill each other. Thanks, Robo. It's probably going to be curse removal. Basically until we get back down to Tabula Rasa. I especially don't like that decreases throne speed being a major buff, major debuff rather. It's basically canceling out. How many actually would it? Because I know 1 buff and 1 debuff, or 1 curse and 1 blessing of the same type cancel each other out. So is a major double, triple as effective, quadruple? Anyone happens to know? I'd love to share in that knowledge with you. if you'd be so kind. Alright, there's some more curses for me to avoid. Wait a second, I can fly. I always forget these things when they're relevant. Alright, at the very least, that will become increasingly relevant over the next couple floors as there are more pits. Really not digging the fact that it looks like I'm leaving without secret rooms or the item room here. When I was saying when I was using the shrine that I would prefer to use the shrine than go to the item room, it's because I only had one key, so I kind of had to choose. I will go back to the shop to see if there's anything worth picking up. It's possible there's a key in there that I just missed. In fact, likely, because I wasn't looking for keys. I don't know where all my keys went as well. It feels like they just all disappeared. Somehow. I don't know. I feel like I'm not really keeping track of every element well. As long as I can just have my muscle memory of meleeing bosses take me over, I'll be fine. I kind of want to re-roll the credit card, but yeah, it's my only bomb. I've not been checking these rooms habitually, but I should have been, admittedly. I just remembered that I didn't even end up having the ability to re-roll the keep all of your gold relic. And just walked away. To be honest, that's probably not going to have any impact on the run at all. As long as one time when I remove a curse, I get the blessing of craftsmanship. With the amount of gold I have, maybe one blessing of craftsmanship every run is what I want. Just the one, thank you. I don't like that the pilfers keep taking all of my food while I'm still trying to complete the GD room. How dare. I feel like I kind of have to diversify fighting my enemies and them so I can get the health that I get from all of the enemies that I'm killing. Okay. This room is much more being killed by the enemies they're in. I don't even know what item was in the center there, but another well done job, lava boots. Jumping is a reflex for me in this game, so these lava boots having this negative interaction with certain rooms, as well as Tenderfoot, both really mess with me. Not good. I was very, very much hoping for a key back from that. I knew I was going to end up with 2 chests, but unfortunately we still do have an unopened item room up there. I do have to be careful around enemies who not only attack me, but also make me slow with their attack, because that's also going to make me more vulnerable to attacks from other targets at the same time. Like, there's a certain amount of acceptable hits I can take, but clearly we're beyond that now. Please, leave all of my food alone. Love it. Iron Branch. Max HP, swing speed, and swing damage. Could hardly be better. If we could also get the King's Crown, I mean, then... Not that it's necessary, but then. Whew. So the Phoenix, does the Phoenix reset to level 1 when it revives you? Or how does Rebirth stop being available as an option? Is that desperately matters to me right now, because maybe I get the cosmic eggs so I can get more experience after I die next floor. Okay, granted, almost certainly not in this circumstance will I do that, but it would be nice to know for a future circumstance. Oh, that potion. Perfection. Those. This. That. Enemies hit with the thrown pickaxe take more damage. So it's kind of like cracking their armor. Yeah, I'll take it. Hey, I actually dealt with a mimic. And mimics have mimics inside that managed to hit me on the backside. Yeah, I shouldn't have started gloating. As soon as I did, I knew. Pride, fall, etc. come before, you know, piece it together. You've heard it before. I'm still interested in finding secret rooms, even after everything else. Wait, hang on. Those aren't lit. Hey, I didn't even know this one was one of those rooms. Really wish the trap rooms would just stop being so bad after you complete them once. Although, this is just an unfortunate circumstance of having a lot of things drop on the ground in a room that is very, very hostile to players. Let's also use Hoarded Pilfer this floor. Yeah, there's not that much blockage in this room at all. Go on. And that is more max HP. Incredible for us. I'd love to see the mediocre ring at this point, actually. No, not the mediocre ring. Actually, the mediocre ring as well, obviously, because of the damage up. But the Ursine ring, the one with a large amount of extra max HP on it. Just so that I can take more hits in the ultimate boss fight. No. It's really good with Catalyst. Like, Catalyst obviously makes it 50% more effective. But it's a bomb. And I have 2 more floors. And those bombs, for me, are re-rolls of items. Buy this so I can try and forget what just happened there. Pretend it didn't. This is, this episode is, bad play, good results. I wish I could pull up the full map. Wouldn't be surprised if that was a feature that ended up getting added in. Most of the games of this ilk have it. Also increased speed outside of combat. Again, that's another thing that harkens back to looking for different ways that the game could increase its pace, and increasing your move speed outside of combat, and also adding in teleports to especially like important rooms, similar to the kind of Gungeon system, to be entirely honest. Both of those are other ideas that I've tossed around as possibly. What do you think? Are there any ideas that you have for how the game would increase its pace? Because that is something that I do see as like a straight up dire issue in the future of this game. Because you don't upload 2 videos of a single run of Binding of Isaac. No one does that. You can't really split an UnderMine into 2 videos, obviously. Especially because the second, like they need to exist within the context of one another. So at that rate, is it just a 2-hour series? That's extremely difficult to justify. Especially if it's relatively regular. Like, I start to worry that this is a game that, as I was mentioning earlier, of being like a Wizard of Legend or being a another one of those kinds of games that has like a finite end state, as well as being a procedurally generated roguelike. It does feel like this would very much be a, oh, I've completed the content. All right, I'm done. If it was at that pace consistently, I mean. Which is, before the announcement of the Crystalline update, kind of where I was getting to as well. With, sure, like I've got one... I just saw that! Oh, I know this one's rare. It's hidden behind something. That's a Cho'Gall item, synergy between... don't know what this is, actually, but it's a synergy between a Cho'Gall item and a Cho'Gall item. This one, it's Cho'Gall item, whatever this is. And then this, I think, is for breakfasting the game by, like, actually re-rolling all of the relics out of the pool. But, like, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 scene relics behind, as well as 2 scene potions, and 1 scene blessing. I was starting to get towards the point of, I don't know if I can just hold out specifically hoping for these things to come, because they are pseudo-randomly generated. It's entirely possible that they just don't. Kind of like how the end of my Enter the Gungeon series, or most recent Enter the Gungeon series, was trying to get the High Dragonfire. But the High Dragonfire is a very, very rare spawn in a certain secret room. So you can't really force it to happen. So instead, you just have to play a lot and be very, very diligent looking for those secret rooms. And that just became tedious. Like, the goal that was being provided to me by the game at that point became tedious. I'll take the curse removal as well. Not exactly what I was going for, but it's fine. Can I? Fine, I'll buy the golden stake, just get that back. And then toxic potion. No, the throw potion's the easiest one to roll here. We have another floor. We could use that. Well, that's interesting. That's extremely interesting. How am I going to get the chance to set up a break? And, importantly, am I? I'll reroll once more with a bomb. Fine. Sadly, I saw something more solid and not circular, not purple fall out of that chest, and I was very excited for the blueprint I was about to get. Forgot that there was another chest inside. Dang it. Good. Yeah, he's able to access both from here. Yeah, it's a fine amount of gold. I'll just throw the pickaxe a couple times and then walk. Okay, yeah, no, this is very much more my jam. I wish I'd found this earlier. So the fact that we're going to be able to, like, constantly do this and heal up is going to be very, very helpful. I would love if I could leave that floor on the food on the floor for the rainbow kernels later on, but no, we get soul. Or rather, I'm not just going to sit there and fight all of the pilfers trying to get it back. There's his throne speed. Hey, thank you for the pilfer. I'm actually going to start doing this again. I don't really care about all that gold up there, and if it's stopping the pilfers from taking my food, I'm into it, frankly. probably should have left myself with some health. Seems like that might have been a decent idea. Oh well. Can't change what I did, just can change what I do. But won't. I will still gamble next floor. You cannot stop me. I'm actually starting to get to the point where I could just pop a bomb directly below me in order to get into the shop, just because I couldn't even be bothered to walk around. Yeah, I wouldn't say that I'm playing badly. Like, yes, I would say that, but I would say that, like, a more accurate descriptor would just be, yeah, just be lazy. Okay, so we got resurrected. Oh, the Phoenix will resurrect the peasant once when they fall, not once they fall. Alright, so it does have actually a limit on it. Whoops. I don't know what to do with this room. I might have to come back and start re-rolling. Not exactly gonna love it, but if it's necessary, it's necessary. Specifically because now I feel really uncomfortable about my possibilities with the boss. What would make me feel better about it? That's worth asking. If there were a shrine on this floor, I would probably feel a lot better about it for the curse removal. And obviously the inversion as well. That's about it. That and, you know, a heal. Thank you for at least not being able to light me on fire. If any of these enemies decide at some point to drop some meat, because that hasn't happened in, I want to say maybe 3 floors now. Extreme over-exaggeration, but still. It's been a while. Alright, yeah, we'll end this run basically in the shop deciding everything. We'll stand down here and swing, and if you get in the way, that's entirely your fault. Really? The Crypt Lurker was the final alive enemy in that room? That's almost never true, because the Crypt Lurkers oftentimes accidentally kill themselves. I'm also taking Waylon's boots here, because now I have all 3 boots. Alright, that's all of them, isn't it? No, the galoshes. All right, we need to go to the shop and re-roll until we get the galoshes now. I'm all in. All I got to do is just quickly evolve a couple extra legs and I'll be able to use them. It's actually not... It's not huge, but it's not tiny either. Large ember. Radiate heat. Definitely not interested in that. Hang on, do I have to pick it up though? No. No, I'll start re-rolling with bombs now. floating. So, well, I clearly can't re-roll again, otherwise I'll blow it up. Because it took 2 damage there. Shield that projects block tiles. Yep, it projects block tiles occasionally. Ah, yes, I had potions. This whole last floor has been effectively a tragedy. As soon as I realized I was playing badly, I started getting real self-conscious about it, and it started feeding back into it. And now I just hope that I live through the Nori fight so that I can take my lumps on this one, but also win so it doesn't feel so bad. All right. Certainly time to take some of those lumps. Let's go, bud. I mean... Oh, what? Too early. Sometimes it seems like the hands come out of the portal slightly earlier or slightly later. Skulls are very likely to block those. So good. Always make sure that I have that hit debuff on them with the thrown pickaxe. Hadn't been using that earlier. Not bad. Yeah, it sometimes feels like the portal opens and then the hand immediately comes out, or the portal opens and then the hand waits a couple seconds. So. Trying to find a better practice. Than my current. Alright, Spectre. That's half of your health, but as we both know, this fight gets spicy in the last half. I'm just gonna quickly turn all of those back on if you don't mind, and if you do, I'm still gonna do it. Oof. Beam attacks, bud. At least we're out of that attack phase, but unfortunately, the next attack phase is the worst. Oh, I almost died. Come on, Nori. I do need to perfect the rest of the fight here to be okay, but I'll do it. No! Oh. Saw my life flash before my eyes. Hopefully right before I see Nori's life end before them. Okay, Nori. No. The hands spawn at the worst times. Right as I'm just about to get into a good swing pattern. Woo! Alright. So we won, which, as far as I'm concerned, means that there can be no critique of me because, as far as I'm concerned, I won, which means that everything I did was good. And definitely not incredibly bad and slightly embarrassing. And all that jazz as well. Why don't we take this Summoning Stone 16, make our way back to the very start, and, whilst doing so, say something along the lines of, my name's Rhapsody, the name of the game has been UnderMine. Hopefully you've been enjoying yourself. There's a playlist in the description down below with all my content of the game, past, present, and future. Hopefully you've been enjoying yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you next time.